Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing every single human being on the planet has vanished. No boss, no bills, no traffic, and absolutely no rules. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, for a man named Phil, this dream became a reality. A deadly virus has wiped out the entire human race. Phil traveled across the entire continent looking for just one other survivor, but found absolutely no one. So he decides to settle down and make the absolute best of it. At first, Phil lives like a king. He moves into a billionaire's mansion. He doesn't just buy things, he just takes them. We are talking about original, priceless historical artifacts. He literally has Van Gogh and Monet paintings hanging in his living room and the actual rug from the White House Oval Office on his floor. But here is the thing about ultimate freedom, it gets boring real fast. Without anyone to talk to, Phil's mental state begins to deteriorate rapidly. He starts doing things that are completely unhinged. Since the city's water supply shuts down, Phil gets creative. He fills an entire swimming pool with expensive alcohol just so he can float in it and drink. He doesn't wash dishes, he just throws them against the wall. And his toilet situation, well, he cuts a hole in the lawn chair and places it over his diving board. Yes, a literal toilet pool. To cope with the crushing loneliness, Phil creates a whole group of friends. He goes to a local bar and talks to a dozen sports balls with faces drawn on them. He spends his nights begging God for just one thing. Please, just send me a woman, any woman. I just don't want to die alone. Just when Phil is at his breaking point, ready to end it all, a miracle happens. He sees a plume of smoke, investigates, and passes out. When he wakes up, he's staring at a living, breathing human being, a woman named Carol. Phil thinks his prayers have been answered. He envisions a beautiful, romantic partner. But Carol, well, Carol is a very particular kind of person. She is loud, extremely strict about rules, and highly eccentric. This brings us to the moment where reality crashes down on both of them. Phil is ecstatic to show Carol his kingdom, so he drives her back to his mansion. But having lived alone for years, Phil has completely forgotten how to be a civilized human. He drives like a total maniac, completely ignoring traffic signs and running red lights. Carol is terrified. She snaps at him, yelling about safety and the law. Phil tries to argue, hey, there's no one else alive? Who am I going to hit? But Carol insists that if they are going to restart society, they must respect the rules. Surprisingly, Phil gives in and follows her orders just to keep her happy. When they finally arrive at the mansion, Phil is proud. He wants to show off his unique post apocalyptic amenities. He takes her to the backyard and proudly points out his garbage pool, his alcohol pool, and his infamous toilet pool. Carol's expression goes from shocked to deeply disturbed, but nothing prepares Carol for the inside of the house. The place is a literal biohazard. There is trash everywhere, dirty clothes piled up to the ceiling, and a stench that could knock someone out. Carol is completely stunned. She cannot comprehend how a human being could live in such absolute filth. Sensing her immense judgment, Phil tries to save face. He quickly points to the walls, trying to show off his status. Look at this. This is a genuine Van Gogh, and that's a Rembrandt. I saved them from museums. He expects Carol to be impressed by his high class taste, but Carol's eyes completely bypass the priceless art. Instead, they land right on a massive, messy stack of magazines on the table. She looks at him and asks what they are. Phil, suddenly realizing how embarrassing this is, awkwardly stammers, oh, those? Yeah, those are adult magazines. I just, you know, read them whenever I get a little too lonely. And right there, the dynamic of the new world is set. Phil thought he was getting a dream companion, and Carol realized she just adopted the world's most chaotic, unhygienic man. If they are going to survive together and repopulate the earth, Carol has a mountain of cleaning and behavior correction to do first. What would you do if you were the last person on earth? Would you live like Phil, or would you keep the rules alive like Carol? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for part 3. See you next time.